Hey guys, I am Davey Wavy from Himeros.tv and I'm here with Dr. Greg.
Hi.
What do you do, Dr. Greg?
I'm a clinical psychologist in supervised practice. I work with adolescents and adults providing therapy and primarily within the LGBTQ plus community.
And today we are going to talk about porn.
Yes.
There's probably a lot of people who think that porn is ruining their lives.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of has been your experience with that?
In my clinical practice, I've actually had like a bunch of different folk come in sometimes talking about porn maybe ruining their lives, but the reasoning behind it can look so different.
Okay.
You know? So for some people, kind of like with sex addiction or compulsive masturbating, if it causes clinically significant distress or impairment in functioning, you're watching so much porn that it's like taking time away from your job, from your friends, that can be a problem.
So that kind of falls in the category of like porn addiction.
Yeah.
Right.
But porn also sometimes ruining people's lives can be that they use porn, they masturbate, and then when it comes time to having sex with their partner, they're tired out.
I would say there's another layer,
Okay.
which is like that when I was growing up, I couldn't ask my parents about gay sex. Like, I didn't have resources available to me. So I learned how to have sex by watching porn.
Yeah.
It's like filmed to arouse you. It's not filmed to like educate you or teach you what feels good.
Yeah. I think that then that could also be ruining people's expectations of what sex is, especially in the queer community. You know, our role models of what is sex is kind of, you know, going online, looking at this like hyper-masculine or this like super contrived or like acted out sex that doesn't really exist in the real world.
And it's also, the sex that we watch in porn follows a very like specific formula.
Yes.
I had someone say that recently was talking about sex, and he was talking about ejaculation and sex ending as like it was interchangeable, like that was the end of
It's all
sex.
about the cum shot.
Right.
Yeah, and then in the real world, it's not always about that. You could have great sex and not ejaculate, not cum. It doesn't have to be this mind-blowing thing. It's
Right.
also, it's taking away from the act of actually just pleasing each other and exploring bodies.
You think sex ends with the cum shot because that's when the porn ends.
Exactly.
Right? So
Yeah.
like that's when it's over, is like when you come. And you can have great sex without even taking your underwear off.
Exactly, and the idea of sex too doesn't always have to be penetrative. You know, sex can be so many different things. It could be or sexual activity, you know, caressing, blowjobs, all that stuff. It doesn't have to be anal sex and then the money shot.
That's like for us doing, you know, Himeros.tv, that's a really important thing, is to show erotic content in a way that doesn't follow this cookie cutter formula that shows different people, different experiences, and that does justice to like the creativity and the dynamic nature that like sex has, rather than putting it in this like tiny little box. Like,
and it's so restrictive. Like some people think porn can be liberating, and porn can be liberating, but it also can restrict what your concept of sex, fucking, all that stuff is.
the doctor said fucking.
Yeah,
Say it again.
Fucking. Okay. But there's just more other porn that's just, first of all, like more body positive porn that just tries to mimic or actually does sort of convey to actual lovers. And I don't think people need to limit themselves just to this sort of stereotypical porn that we're kind of... Sometimes you don't know what your likes are until you see it, explore it. I mean, if you're already on the site, just click the other browser and explore it.
I think it has the effect of seeing very like similar young, hung, like muscular bodies over and over again in porn. It almost has the effect of telling the audience that like that sort of ecstatic bliss is only available to this small like sliver of society, and that like if you don't look like that, if you're older, rounder, darker, then like you don't have access to this ecstasy.
Exactly, and I think that's a great point too, in that like kind of going back to the idea of also if you're unfuckable, you know, like if you're not like this buff, white, cisgendered gay male, then you're unfuckable, because that's what's represented. For you, let's say, if it gets you off and it doesn't necessarily have a negative impact, then great. If you're not fitting into that box and you're thinking, am I unfuckable? It's like, let's look around at like what's going on in our society and our culture and kind of explore that. And doing that, it also takes away that burden that we put on ourselves, because it's the systemic issue that's not necessarily in our control.
And if you guys do want to experience a different flavor, it's like porn but better, erotica, go to Himeros.tv.
Oh, yeah.
And check it out. A little plug.
There you go, yeah, Himeros.tv.
And where can people find out more about you?
Okay, so I have a website. It's www.drgregmendelson.com. So DRGREGMENDELSON.com.
That's a mouthful.
I know, it's really
That's
long.
what he said.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah. Well, thanks guys for watching, and as always, more to come.